And we are live, guys. This is, of course, Chris again. I'd like to welcome my buddy Ace. I'm sure if you guys are familiar with the Facebook groups, and he's pretty active in all the different Facebook groups. It's Ace Baldwin, guys. But what are you wearing tonight, Ace? Watch-wise.
The wristwatch check. Yeah, we got the Monta Ocean King Gilt No Date. So
nice.
This watch is way more famous than I am because I picked it up from Kat from the 10 and 2 girls. So
okay.
So if it was hers, then now it's mine. So yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
she seems pretty cool. I noticed she's a Tennessee Vols fan there, huh?
Right. Yeah, I know. You're big into your don't tell me.
Clemson.
Louisiana. Clemson. That's right. Yeah, the
Clemson,
orange.
yeah,
now I remember. Your orange monster. Yep, for sure.
Yep. No, definitely. And I can't believe my Browns actually won. We're 4-1 today. What's going on, Bruce?
That's crazy. And
go ahead.
Yeah, and my Niners tanked it today. So.
Oh. Man, that sucks. And I'm wearing the. I think I showed you earlier. I'm wearing that marathon. I got it on loan for review, and this is actually the first time I've had a marathon. Yep. And these are actually really cool. You said you actually have a marathon, right? Is it that one, the GSAR?
Yep, GSAR 41 millimeter. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
I got the bracelet for it too, but I just had it on the black Orca Blue Sharknado.
Nice.
To get more tactical with it,
Nice.
But yeah, it's a keeper for me for sure. I mean, secondhand, that's about the most watch you can get for $600. So I can't complain with that,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely a lot of watch.
It's great.
I was
going
to ask you,
but to have a tritium.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I was going to ask you about, I know you served in the Marines, which thanks for your service, by the way. Did that have any impact on any of your collecting, or did you collect back then when you were in, or what did you wear? The typical G-Shock?
It's such a. Yeah, I had a G-Shock, and then I remember I had a what was it? The Shark brand. So just another digital quartz movement. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I wasn't big into collecting it as far as any mechanical watches. But I always, ever since I was a kid, felt like I needed a watch. My wrist, ever since I can remember, has felt naked if I don't have a watch. So it's only been the last 5 years that I started collecting like automatics and mechanicals and things like that. So yeah.
Okay, that's kind of how I got started. I had was it the freestyle watch? Yeah. I used to.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The freestyle Shark.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember those.
Yeah, especially since I was born and raised in Hawaii. Being born and raised in Hawaii, I started off as a surfer kid, so that was kind of like the cool one to have. I do remember having a Swatch jellyfish as a kid too.
Okay.
So that would be cool, but yeah.
So did that now once you started into collecting, do you have a certain ethos you go by for collecting, or do you go by aesthetics? Do you go just by what draws your eye, or what how do you go about collecting?
Oh, well, I think like obviously the evolution of the last 5 years has really changed. I wouldn't say that I have too different of a story from a whole lot of people, I remember my 3 mechanical watches that actually showed up on the same day, even though they were all ordered on different days, was a used SKX, a new Seiko Turtle, the 777, black one, and the Hamilton Khaki Field. So I kind of, jumped right in right after a bunch of reviews, and basically it happened like I was getting ready. I was preparing for one of my bodybuilding shows, and was so sick and tired of like doing my cardio and watching everything bodybuilding, eat, sleep, breathe bodybuilding. I was like, I need a different outlet, And I remember watching, I think it was kind of like this gear channel, Nut and Fancy, and he was reviewing like field watches. And I was like, and he was comparing like a Citizen with a Seiko, both solar. And I just started going down the rabbit hole, and then like one Seiko led to another, and but yeah, I just kind of ended up to where I ordered these different watches on different days, and three of them showed up at the same time, and I was just like overwhelmed, right? And then I was bitten by the bug. It was like, oh man, And so the last 5 years, I've kept I've kept track of how many watches I've purchased over the 5 years. I have them all written in my phone, and it's something like I'm up to like 78 now.
And, that's crazy.
But obviously, yeah, but having sold most of those as well, right?
Yeah.
To where I've ended up with now, I'm down to like 14, right? So just one watch case. So obviously didn't get all 77 at the same time or whatever, but so it's been definitely a buy sell trade over the years, and a slow progression of, this one's a little bit to the next tier, but I kind of now say that I'm like the self-proclaimed prince of the sub $2,000 range. Like I don't really have a desire to go above the 2,000 range.
There's a lot of watches like that's where I feel the most comfortable. Like 500 to 2,000 is where I feel the most comfortable.
Right. Yeah. And I would say that that's definitely like my and I've held them, and I've worn other friends' watches, whether it was $5,000, $10,000, and I go, yeah, it's nice, I love it, but I just wouldn't love it that much more to where I need that, And then a lot of times I joke around and say, like, I would really have to be in a different tax bracket for me to feel more comfortable with like watches of that price, right? Or people go, well, what you have, you could sell to get one or two really good ones. And I'm like, I love my collection. I don't want 50. I do like, having 10 or a dozen that I love. So, yeah.
No, is that what kind of drew you to Manta, like with the quality and everything? Because I know you have. Do you have all their pieces?
Yeah.
All Manta's lineup.
Yeah. No. I have two. I have
two. Okay.
The So I've got the Ocean King gilt dial, and then I also have the Manta Blue GMT, which is their Atlas.
And buddy, he's a local buddy here. He's
brown leather today.
So. Those are killer. It's definitely killer. And you get the quality there for the Manta is
beautiful.
Just,
it's
the Definitely.
Right.
Sorry. Go ahead,
I guess the way I put it is, I'm such a let's say I'm a practical person in the sense of, yes, how much watch can you get per your dollar, right? So the bottom line is that, and any good reviewer will tell you this, you just go ahead and watch who you respect more, who you trust more. And when they say that the quality is on par with watches that cost double or triple, it's true. And so that can't be denied. So if then that's not enough for you, then that means somebody is paying for a brand name, right? I also am paying because I love the brand. It's not just the product. It's when I totally stand behind the people that run that company. I mean, do you know what it's like to call up the owner of the entire company and talk watches for a half hour just like this? Try to do that with Omega. Try that with Rolex.
Yeah.
You can.
I mean, I ordered.
You can.
I don't know if you remember. I had a SkyQuest GMT. When I called and ordered that, I was surprised that Justin himself was the one I took the order from. That's one I regret selling, by the way. I need to get another.
Yeah. I regret selling the first two Mantas that I owned, which was the blue Ocean King, steel bezel, and it was more importantly the green Triumph. And that green Triumph was awesome because it was a toned down green, more like olivine, not like a really bright emerald. So, and nobody will sell those now because they're discontinued. They don't make that colorway anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, but to be honest, I sold those 2 to fund the Blue Atlas, and then pocketed the rest. But hindsight, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Now,
yeah,
did you pre-order the new
definitely my
Noble that's
favorite
coming out?
brand as far as like quality. I did not, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
It is dressier than how I pretty much dress up, right? So, hey, if I was a suit and tie kind of guy, and let's be face it, I'm suit and tie when I have to go to a wedding, and that's it. And it's like maybe some years I go to 2 or 3, and then I'll go like 3 years and no weddings. So when am I wearing that? Like, and I'll be honest, man, like if this Atlas isn't dressy enough, even for that, I'm good. I don't need to get more dressy than that, So it's
I'm the
beautiful,
same
and
way.
I've had other, yeah. So my style, not to mention like what suits me best, physique, I tend more towards like pieces that are a bit more solid, and I don't need the big old like swole clock, like
Yeah.
I don't need anything, 48 millimeter or anything like that. But like, I just like things that are a bit more on the robust side. I've had a lot of
like the
really pretty
Marathon.
dress watches, and they sat there. Yeah, right. All of them,
Yeah.
like a lot of people, I have more divers than anything. And then I've got a few field watches, and but I've had dress watches and they just don't get worn, or like I tend to put it on just to stay at home. And I'm like, I'm just washing dishes with this, So I've had, like 4 Sarbs. I've had, Sarb 33, the 35, the 65, the 17, I've had a regular Alpinist. But they're so damn pretty, and it's like I respect them for that. And I admire them, but do I wear them? Do I wear them out? Do I, put them on with a regular outfit? I tend to go with, like more of a robust watch, So yeah. That's why I won't be getting the Noble, but I will think it's beautiful for sure.
Yeah. Clive was joking with you. He's saying, which Baldwin brother is this?
Yeah. I used to have to pull off that lie all the time. I used to have to know like what order it was. It was Daniel, Alex, Steven, and Billy, and then it was Ace down here. I was the youngest Baldwin brother, but no relation. Yeah. And yet, yes, prior military, Marine Corps. Yeah. Stinger gunner.
Yeah. Nice. So, but yeah, so basically with like brands like Monta, like you said, like sub like $2,000, you can't really beat for the price, like everything you get, and just like you were talking about the Sarbs, I mean, for $500, $400, you get a lot of watches of money.
Yeah, I mean, I bought my first Sarb 35 that now my older daughter has. I gave it to her because I brought it with us on our trip to Europe. So now she has that with the memories built into it. But I bought that used for $185.
Nice. You can't beat that.
Like, and it was pretty much perfect. So, it's like, yeah, it was so pretty, and this was like 4 years ago. Yeah, I think I bought the 33, the black dial, for like $220 or something. It's just crazy. I've actually sold a lot of my watches for more than I bought them for, and a lot of people think that that's not really possible with watches other than Rolex or AP, but I've netted a decent amount after selling, well, now 60 ish, 60, 65 watches. And I've kept a list of like how much everyone cost, what I bought it for, what I sold it for, and then now what's the net I have paid total for 5 years of collecting. And even my net payout so far is still less than $6,000.
So that's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not at all. I mean, that's less than what. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I've got 2 Montas. You want to go down the line. It's like I've got a limited edition Oris Aquis. I mean, on bracelet and rubber.
Is that the 39 or 40, 41 mil?
It's 43 and a half.
Okay.
And it still fits like a dream because of the short lugs, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
it's their standard size, but it's the Source of Life with the tungsten bezel and that like legit blue.
Yeah, their rubber
dial.
straps
So
are really
yeah, I
comfortable
love
too.
that one. Oh man, yeah, I had to source that on separate, but it came on the bracelet. So yeah, I definitely needed both, you know.
Yeah, I know a lot of people's gripes are the
with my
integrated
collection,
strap.
it's like
They're comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. And that one,
the
obviously, everybody recognizes right away. You know?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, Zen 556 had to have that as well. You know, go down the line. You know, my Eterna Kontiki, which I always consider
like
the most beautiful watch I've ever seen, actually. And yeah, that was so pretty. So that's basically like my dressiest watch.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's bigger, it's 42 mil with a 22 lug width, but it hugs the wrist like crazy. So,
and of course, the original manufacturer of it had a movement
Hamilton
too. Okay.
Pilot. Exactly. Yes.
That one's what?
Good,
Is that one
history right there, Chris?
37 mil on the Hamilton?
The Hamilton?
Yeah. That's 37 mil, right? Oh, 36. Okay.
Yeah, 36.
Because I was wondering, I hadn't looked at
but
one
I
of those
love
yet.
this
How does
little
it
guy.
wear for that? Does it wear bigger?
Oh, like no, it wears totally like a dream, man. It's perfect because it's got a cushion case, right? So it sits a little bit. I'll put it on the wrist right now just for fun because a lot of people immediately write it off because of the size, especially since it's an 18 millimeter strap, right? But so, you know, for me, having a little bit like of a thicker build, you know, it's like I still love to wear this. I'll wear this to the gym. I'll wear it for workouts. I'll wear it with jeans, t-shirt. Doesn't matter. But I mean, I do have kind of smaller wrists at about 6 3/4 inch. But the illusion is that like I'm supposed to be wearing some huge ass watch, and that's not the case, right? So, but you'll see how nice it's like. This is when I come home and I say, let me slip into something a little more comfortable. It means put this on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that fits really comfortable.
And it's probably real versatile with the natives too, right?
Like that one. Yeah, absolutely. So right now it's on this Watch Gecko vintage bond, which just goes really good because it's a vintage inspired watch from like the 70s, you know. So, but yeah, I got all the different straps for this guy too. So, yeah, you know, you've seen pretty much the rest of my collection. I got the hardly ever seen Blue Monster, which is the 3rd gen.
I think I remember seeing that. Okay.
Came with the 6R movement. Yeah, so it's got the 6R movement, and then even the 4th gen after that, they downgraded it again back to the 4R movement. So it's like I got that guy with the better and that dark blue dial that you don't really see, but you know, everybody's got to have their SKX. I know that.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, the one I still have. That's one I still have is the
this one
O11J.
Yeah. But this one's been modded so that it costs twice the price. You know, everybody needs a $500 SKX, right? But you know, we obviously went sapphire ceramic, changed the hands so that even the handsets are white to match the Lume Plus. So
now, where did you get yours modded at? Did you do it yourself?
Yeah,
or did you get something?
I've got I've got my own mod ninja. So my buddy Alan, who lives in the area, he's got all the stuff, and we've done several watches together just for fun, you know. He says like, hey, he says you just make dinner while I'm working over here on the table. He said, you got it, no problem. So I'm lucky enough to where my modding only costs me parts and dinner. So yeah.
Nice.
We just like to do it and hang out, you know. So yeah,
Clyde's staying dive running Jubilee. Is that an Uncle Sicko bracelet?
And you want to know what?
Or is that the original SKX bracelet?
It comes on a Jubilee. So I was going to say, you take this up with Seiko if you don't want to see what it comes on. But no, of course, this is a Super Jubilee from Strapcode. So yeah. I also have obviously the the Super Oyster as well. I've got the Uncle Seiko Tropic rubber. I've got a Crafter Blue rubber for it. So definitely, whatever we want to put on this guy, it's awesome.
How are the Crafter Blues?
Yep.
I was wondering
Gotta
about
love that. Solid. They're really solid. They're thick, but they fit really well. I'd say they hug the wrist pretty good. Yeah. But if anybody wants to buy one, I am going to sell it, because I always tend, if I put that on rubber, I tend to go with the Tropic, which I also swapped out Turtle hardware for. So it's all Seiko, hardware on it. So I like that one better. But the Crafter Blue is fitted. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Sorry, I was just going to say, for those of us that are just joining in, Ace is he's pretty active in the Facebook groups, guys. You're a moderator on what, Daily Wristwatch Check, right? And Monta, you started the Monta group as well, right? On Facebook.
Yeah, and then moderator on Daily Wristwatch Check and founder of the Monta Appreciation Club Facebook group. So come on over if you want. You don't have to own a Monta already. You just have to not show up just to throw shade, But no, we welcome everybody coming on over, especially if you have questions and you want to talk to the most amount of Monta owners. I mean, that's a good way to do it, right? A lot of people are happy to share pics and videos and their experience with, hey, how's the movement last after a year or two? How's the customer service, right? So we're just happy to share with people for sure.
Junior Johnson saying nice collection.
I can keep going through the whole collection if you want. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, appreciate it. The newest pickup, right? The all loom dial Zelos Mako V3.
Okay, I like those.
So that one,
Zelos makes a lot of watch for the money too. So
yeah, I had to pick that one up. Yeah, the quality's certainly there. So much of people's complaint with micro brands or watches of a certain tier is that but it doesn't have an in-house movement, or they're just using an H35 or whatever, or ETA or as Solita. And I'm always the first to say, I do not want an in-house movement. I don't. Because if it's just going to cost that much more to repair, not interested. I don't want to send it in and have it.
You could pick one up off eBay and just put it in yourself, right? If it needs a new movement,
drop it in. Sure. Yeah. Anything honestly past a 4R or NH movement, Miyota, I'm good. That's great. So I'm not picky. I'm not a movement snob one bit. When people go, oh, this one Caliber, it's got such an incredible movement. And I go, still got to do exactly the same thing, right? I don't get to look at it doing its job and go, oh, it's beautiful how the hands still go around. Oh my gosh, it's worth so much. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about that at all, And then it also really surprises people to hear when I say that the longest amount of power reserve that I truly give a shit about would be 1 hour. I'm if I'm not wearing it, I don't expect it to keep working. I don't care, If you're what? I'm when they're 80-hour power reserve, I'm I'm going through a dozen watches with a really good rotation. So I almost have to set the time and date every morning with a new watch. And I really like that. So, it's I really enjoy setting my watch every morning and I don't mind it. I've got to do that with a new one because probably it has stopped since I've used it last. Right. So, with my favorite watch of all time, which would be the Hamilton Khaki Field automatic.
Okay.
This with the 80-hour power reserve, this trips me out. I'll completely forget when I wore it last and I'll look down and it's days later, it's still going. And I go oh, wow. I forgot, you know? So this one catches me off guard that like it's still going for a long time. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Just goes to show you that like it's not always about price, which makes your favorite watch, right? My favorite watch is not the most expensive one. So yeah, it's cool.
It's kind of like mine. Like the one that's actually staying out of all mine really is the Orange Monster. I picked that up for like $180 like 8-9 years ago when they were still being sold.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that Gen 1 right now is such an icon. I mean, that's the original, you know, and especially in orange, that one will go for more than the black or whatever. You know, you hold on to that one.
Oh, and, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Same thing with let's see, who am I talking? Who was I talking to? I can't remember, but he's got the Gen 1 Orange Monster also, and he's like, yeah, it runs way too fast. I need to like change the movement or whatever. I need to get it serviced, but he already has had that for like a decade that, you know, he's not going to get rid of it. And yeah, it's an icon, man. Solid. I had the Gen 1 black, the 779, and I only sold that because I knew that I was going to get this guy. I kept an eye out on Watch Recon for this one for a long time because I said, I really love how dark blue is. I love that it doesn't give, there we go. It doesn't have the numerals on the inside of the markers. I said, and it doesn't have the vampire teeth of the Gen 2, right? And so, but it did have, it did have the knurled crown, which I really liked. And it had the upgraded movement, the 6R 15 movement. So for me, it was like a no-brainer. So I kept an eye on this on it when I found a good secondhand price, but you hardly ever see this one. So the SCSZ003, in case anybody's looking that up. So yeah.
Have you seen Mark from Long Island is actually going to do a remake of the Monster? Because you know how he has his Islander lineup. He's actually going to do a remake. I just saw on Instagram.
Yeah, totally. No kidding. Really? Yeah, he's like apparently got a key to that and or something, man. But
yeah,
he's doing. And then I saw that he also has done like the Samurai, I think.
That's what I was going to ask you too. I was wondering if you were thinking about picking up any of those because I've had like 2 of them in, and for $300, they're a lot of watch for the money. Pretty much what everybody would mod their watch to is what he's done.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I recognize that right away too. And for me, it's like there's no denying the value that you get. But for some reason, it's like it doesn't strike a chord in me. And I don't know if it's that like I don't really like the logo, or I don't know that if I like that like it's basically an homage to an already obtainable watch, so might as well get the original kind of thing. Like, no hate, like I think Mark is great. You know, my family is actually from Long Island, so it's funny to tune into him and hear him with his accent, and you know, it sounds like kind of some of my family members, you know. But but I really like the fact that he goes and does that we normally would do anyway, but you don't have to pay for the modding cost. It's really like it's the same price as if you just paid. Dude, yeah. So if somebody was truly only interested in the specs, like, that's the best your buck by far, right? So, you know, but for me, like, I do want to see Seiko on the dial. I do like, you know, whether it's just the text and all of that, I like it to look original for sure. Like I don't like when people, or I just don't prefer when people go way down the hole of like modding and it looks nothing like an original. Like that's the biggest reason why I modded this the way I did, is so that it still looks almost exactly like a regular SKX. Even went with the SKX style insert, but it's just ceramic. and how the regular SKX, the insert has silver markers. Well, this has white, so that it is truly a completely black and white everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the hands are completely white, where the regular SKX hands are outlined in silver, but the markers are not. So that didn't match to me. They do on the Turtle. The Turtle markers are outlined in silver, but the SKX, they aren't. So that was an OEM mismatch in my eyes. So I made it match better, but still with exactly the same shape, font, size.
Now, did you put the NH movement?
So,
did you take the 7S out and put the NH movement in it?
You're damn right I did. Yeah. Signed crown and everything, baby. So yeah, we got the signed crown, we got the and we got the actual 4R36 movements, and then the double dome sapphire with clear AR, so that it's not giving me a different color. And yeah, the ceramic insert. I wanted to leave the actual same bezel, because I think the SKX bezel is such an iconic. I didn't want to change it to a coin edge or anything. I wanted it to be its original. So yeah, so that was the deal. Is I wanted it, to initially come off looking just like an SKX, but it's just everything has been upgraded. So yeah, keeper.
Now, do you have anything on your radar at the moment?
Keeper is because, yeah, I do for sure. I'm really gonna go for the Doxa 300 Aquamarine. Yeah.
Okay,
So
nice.
I had the 1200T Caribbean last year, and I sold that to my good buddy Mark Inman, because it just wasn't my favorite shade of blue. It was a really vibrant, electric blue, right? A lot of times I say, it's like a Chase Bank blue. It's right. So, what's up, David? How you doing, man? Thanks for tuning in. But
David actually bought this marathon. I got to ship it to him.
Yes. Hey, David, great watch, man. I got one myself. So awesome. Definite keeper in my collection. You're going to love it. All right. And you're going to love to see the tritium loom glow at night without any extra help. So yeah. So yeah, the aquamarine, I love that turquoise color. I love how they do the turquoise color inlay on the bezel insert. It wore so comfortable for it being whatever that size is, 40, 43 or 44 even. Was it 42 and a half? Anyways, that classic Doxa cushion case, it wore super comfortable. The Beads of Bryce bracelet was definitely hands down the most comfortable bracelet I've ever worn. I just wanted a different dial color. So my buddy wanted it. I sold it to him pretty much for what I paid for it. I think I took like a $50 hit total on that, but I got it for such a screaming deal anyway. So yeah, the Aquamarine will be like my true summer watch for sure, with just being that bright turquoise. Nice. It's Doxa, man, so it's not like trying to hide anything, yeah. So that's definitely on my radar. I know, right? Yep. So that's on my radar. I've got like a handful of others too. Yeah.
Clyde was asking
if I had to pare down to one watch. Yeah. Okay. All right. I already know what the answer is, and it surprises a lot of people. But the love I have for my Hamilton Khaki Field automatic is kind of unexplainable. It's like, hey, you just sometimes love a watch, and it strikes a chord with you that it doesn't really translate on paper, right? Certainly it's not the most expensive watch by any means, but it was my first Swiss watch, my first ETA movement. And I have completely taken this underwater. So the 100 meters non-screw down crown has proven itself to me. I mean, I've wakeboarded with it. This and wiped out hard, and it so yeah, I'm not worried about the water resistance on it one bit. So yeah, this guy, and at 38, millimeters, it fits my smaller wrist perfectly. It's kind of a jack of all trades. I mean, it's a field watch. I was a military man, and the fact that I've worn this hunting, I've worn it in a wedding, I've worn it with blue jeans and a t-shirt, just changed the strap. I even bought the bracelet separately, worth the whatever it is, 140 bucks by itself,
Yeah, they're so versatile. You can throw almost any kind of strap on them.
I've said this plenty of times. Yeah, I've said plenty of times that if I had to leave the burning building with only one on my wrist, it would be this one and a pocket full of straps. So yeah, man. As much as I've got watches with up to 500 meters water resistance, and I love my divers, and I love, some good chunky beef on my wrist. Yeah, I'd take the Hamilton for sure.
Nice. What others do you have on your radar?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. I will have besides the Doxa, I will have another Oris Diver 65. I already had the Bico bronze, but I actually didn't sell that. I traded to my good friend Stanley Tong. I traded straight up, no money involved, the Diver 65 for the limited edition Source of Life on bracelet full kit.
Nice.
Aquas. So that was a win-win. Nice. We both liked that. This felt too big for him. The other one, it's not that it was too wrong for me. It's that I realized that I wanted this one more. I wanted that limited edition Source of Life. So that was kind of like an attainable grail for me that I was looking out for. And that Diver 65 was a means to be able to get that, especially knowing that I would rather have the lesser Bico bronze Diver 65 that only has the bronze bezel and the what else, like the rose gold hands, but the black dial.
Oh, okay.
So I will have that. Really like it doesn't have the Bico on the bracelet.
The Japanese one, the denim brand one, the limited. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
I really like the gel.
Yeah, I have.
It's got like a little bit of bronze.
That's a beautiful green fume dial,
Mashimoto or Mirimoto, something like that.
Yeah, right. I don't want to butcher the name too. If I saw it, I can say it. I can read different languages very well. But I'm trying to. Yeah, that's cool. I'm such a bracelet guy that I would also have to source the bracelet for that too. But yeah, that one looks really cool. The Hodinkee one, that's a bit pricey for my taste. I'm like, you're again just paying for the Hodinkee name and to have the ghost out bezel no date. But yeah, no, the one that I really want is that lesser bronze Bico Diver 65. So I will have that.
Nice.
Another time it's kind of a reason why I'm not picking up a Baltic Aquascaf, although I really like those and they come on a Beads of Rice bracelet that I really want as well. So I think I'll probably hold off on that Baltic. But I've wanted that for a while. I did see that in person and get to try it on at the Wind Up Watch Fair in San Francisco last year. So let's see what else. Today, like I sent you that video of my buddy Mark's newest Marine Master that finally comes with ceramic and sapphire. And that blue dial, oh my gosh, I was so smitten with that sucker, man. And I told my other buddies today, I said, that 44 mil doesn't even feel like a 42. It feels like a 40. So again, Seiko worked their magic. Ultra short lugs. I think the fact that it's taller makes it feel, but it was so comfortable. So I really can see myself picking that up and maybe being like my ultimate Seiko. I only have 2 Seikos right now, and I used to have 10. So I've done pretty good to pare this down,
Yeah.
So,
what's the price, David? Is it the SLA? What is it?
Yeah. My buddy picked that. Yeah, I can't remember the nomenclature on that, but it's the newest one that has a ceramic insert. They did away with the Marine Master branding on the dial, but it's still the, monocoque case. So there's no case back to it. You have to get in through the crystal. So that just gives it even more water resistance, but it's got like the 8L movement in it, basically a Grand Seiko movement in it, right? But like secondhand market price is like $2,000, and he said he feels it's the best watch he's ever had, and he's got a Tudor Black Bay. He's got a Tudor Black Bay steel and a Black Bay 36, and he's saying that this Seiko feels like it's the best watch he's ever had. It was so nice today. I mean, the Dia Shield coating on it, the Zaratsu polish, it was, oh my God, it was crazy.
Like you said, it's
he's in there in the gym with me today working out with that sucker.
It's basically a Grand Seiko movement.
Yeah, it's a Grand Seiko, pretty much,
And then Clive is asking, do you have any
without
Chronos?
the Grand Seiko branding on it, Yeah, good question. I do not currently have any Chronos in my collection. I realized I'm not really much of a chrono person. I think down the road I could see myself getting the Hamilton Intramatic chronograph. I think that's beautiful.
I remember my buddy Sam had that.
I really like.
You know Sam,
so I
don't
could
you?
see myself picking that up. Yeah.
I remember Sam had it for a little
while.
Sam
probably.
Yeah, Sam Simon.
Sam and I have done watch sales back. In fact, Sam is the one that bought my first two Montas.
Okay.
And then he paid me cash and a Helio Seaforth. So Sam still got my green Triumph that I want back someday. What's up?
He was one of the first people to lend me a watch for review. He lent me his Oris Diver 65 when I first started the channel. Way back.
Yeah, he's definitely a great dude. He's one of those guys along with you that like I wish we lived in the same town and we could crack a beer, but we're all spread out across the entire country, and a lot of us are spread out over the whole world. I've got friends, in Singapore and the Middle East, and it's just like I love the watch community. It's
that's how these are like these live streams are pretty cool. You can get a chance to actually talk to different people, and what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great, man. I'm all about that, worldwide friendship for sure. And the fact that we can come together on a common ground, it's like, I love that. I see a Panerai on Ace's hand in the future. I do too, but I'm going to have to get to the next tax bracket. I'm going to have to feel more comfortable with something that costs more on my wrist. I just am, but I love that iconic, you can't mistake it right off the bat, those huge markers, that crown guard, for sure. So I'd like a Panerai someday. I visited the very first Panerai shop in Florence, Italy, in Firenze, when I visited Italy 3 years ago, and they had to buzz me into the building because they're standing out there with guards and everything, and it was just like, can I get a tour? Can I walk around here? At the time, I didn't know that it was the very first Panerai shop at all. So I was just taking my tour, walking through, and let's just say they weren't very friendly. So they didn't seem to they didn't seem to give the crap that I was a watch enthusiast with Seiko on my wrist, So it's all good. It's all good. I'm not going to fault the brand for bad salesmen. Yeah. So I got to look at them. I didn't even get to pick one up and put it on my wrist, but I know that I can sport that sucker on there for sure.
Nice. Nice.
Yep.
So, any others on your radar besides those 2 or 3?
Yeah, I think. Well, now that I got to hold this Marine Master today, that might have bumped the desire to have the new Captain Willard I really like that new Apocalypse Now reissue. You know what which one I'm talking about? It's like a smaller version of a turtle. It comes in black or green.
Yeah. I know Rob's looking at that random.
He wants SPB something. Yeah, I want that green too. I got a buddy that's got the green, and I said already, hey, first dibs, So that looks like a great watch that you could get still for probably like under $1,000. That it's got awesome movement, and the specs are great, and I just love the look. So
definitely,
that could be on the radar. I'm trying to think. I made a list too, so I could remind myself, like, hey, put them in order. Even as low as, or as inexpensive as like wanting to buy back the SKX 009 because I really miss that Pepsi bezel. I already have the 007J, so I need the 009J again, which I sold, a year or two ago. But I miss that one, right? So sometimes we sell things, we regret it, we can buy them back, So even that, kind of keep an eye out for. I think that's about it right now. Other than a AP Royal Oak, I might as well put that on the list. Really way in the future. That's when I'm like way much more of a fitness celebrity, and the bank is pouring in. I'll get the Royal Oak Jumbo in navy blue. That would be good. I would rock that sucker for sure. I bang out workouts in the gym with that.
I guess it'd be like Arnold wearing his.
Sure, why not? Well, I'll put it to you. Sometimes people like razz me about wearing expensive watches when I work out, and I go, yeah, I know, my G-Shock is right over there in the gym bag, and I'm just choosing not to put it on. But like, I'll work out with a Manta or or my Aquis, and at costing $2K or close to it. It's like, I already know from 20 plus years of hard training that my watch, I think, has never touched anything other than my own skin. So, I'm good. I'm not doing ballistic movements. My training is very controlled, and it's not touching anything other than myself. So I don't care. And if they're tool watches, man, wear them. Don't be afraid. Don't baby your watches. I don't. At the same time, I do not bash them about, right? I just know that they pretty much always are taken care of. And I haven't really had a problem with any. David wants to know a world timer. I think the closest to the world timer that I'm going to get is just my Atlas GMT. Hey, if that tracks another time, I'm just dying to get this, What's funny? The only time I've used this actually in a practical application is when I was coaching my good friend Kyle Shutt, who is the owner of Stratton and Signum.
Okay.
Right? Those brands? Well, I was coaching him with a training and nutrition program, and he's in Switzerland. So I needed to know what time it was for him in Switzerland. So when we do our FaceTime calls, I'm not calling him at 3 a.m., right? So I would set this watch and have it going for every one of our weekly meetings. So that's kind of it. Being here based in California, it was very much like, time difference. Yeah. And of course we could look that up on our phones, but that means, can't we check the regular time on our phone too? With that's already out. We as enthusiasts, we look for reasons to use our watches, don't we? So give me a reason, right?
For sure.
It's like, I'm timing, the hard-boiled egg, or I'm using the dive bezel for the parking meter, right? It's just little things like that. So,
okay,
it's our man jewelry, and we don't need a reason, but give me one, Yeah.
Definitely.
Good enough.
Definitely. But we've been going on about an hour here. I don't want to keep you too much longer. If you guys got any more, got any more questions for
I'm good if you're good.
If anybody's got any more questions, probably end it here in about another minute or so. You got anything else you want to add, Ace?
Hey, I just appreciate anybody tuning in. Again, I thank you, Chris. I'm just a regular guy like anyone else. I'm not, you know, no watch celebrity or anything like that. I'm just happy to share my experience with anybody that cares to listen. I appreciate everybody else's feedback and input, you know, whether here or on the Facebook groups or forums. I really enjoy interacting with you guys.
Once this drops, I'll leave
down the road.
I'll leave the groups on. Yeah. I'll leave a link down to the groups once it drops. Once this actually drops live on
yeah, for sure.
I'll leave a link to the groups so they can go in and join.
Yeah, for sure. Or if you want to hit me up on Instagram, it's pretty simple. Ace Baldwin Fitness. You know, you can find me. I post pretty regularly there too. So yeah. Hey, Chris, you're doing a great job, man. I like what you're doing. You've come a long way. You remember me? I was always got to bust your balls and be like, hey, that picture can be better, or hey, you gotta fix your typos, right? I was always that guy because I cared and I like you, and I'm like, man, this guy's got a bright future, and here you are, you're doing it, and now you get the big dogs wanting to send you stuff and be on your show, and it's like you've earned that, man. You completely have. It's been awesome to watch your journey too. We've kind of come a long way for years. I've been chatting with you for years already. You know.
Yeah, it's been a while now. That's one great thing about the hobby too. I mean, I made so many, you know, which you probably have too, made so many different friends.
Yeah. Yep.
You can go pretty much almost anyone in the world now probably have, you know somebody.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, and doing the meetups, watch meetups, whether it's Red Barn events or like the Wind Up Fair in San Francisco, where we had, you know, you got people coming in from all over the world, and you figure out who's going to be there, and you meet them in person, and it's great, you know. I tell people all the time, because I'm in wine trade, I say like, hey, if you're here in town, let me know. Like, I'd love to meet up with you, right? Let me buy you lunch. Let me buy you a beer. Let me take you wine tasting, you know? So yeah, we've met some pretty good friends away, and it unfortunately travel has been really tough right now. But I do feel like, man, if I found myself, you know, in the neighborhood of some of these friends that we've only known online, it's like, sure as shit, we would meet up, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're ever down at the beach, man,
the invite's always out. Right? Yeah, for sure. Yep, I will.
Appreciate you coming on, man. We will.
Hey, absolutely. Appreciate you too, man.
Call that night. Thanks, everybody, for coming on.
We'll tune out. And